I have the pleasure of speaking with Scott D'Agostino for the first time ever.
Yes, how are you?
And we're going to talk WizKids. Very good. Great to meet you. Thank you. When Elliot Miller was with the gaming gang, he tackled all the WizKids stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And when he branched out, I didn't run with the ball, so I'm sorry. So we're going to actually take care of that today.
We can talk about some WizKids stuff today.
Oh my gosh, you got so much going on with WizKids. Tons and tons. You've got, it's the 15th anniversary of HeroClix.
15th anniversary, yep. Started in 2002, and we're celebrating this year, so a lot of exciting programs happening. We're running tournaments here at the show, and we've got...
win money tournaments?
Win prize figures.
Woo!
Yeah, there you go.
Rare figures.
And
cool.
yeah, absolutely. Well, you can only get them at the shows here, so...
Right, perfect.
And we're also running tournaments for Dice Masters and Star Trek Attack Wing as well. Mm-hmm. And then showing off all our new board games.
Right, and that's what we're going to kind of focus on. And I want to point out to our audience out there, there is loads and loads of a lot of HeroClix stuff, Marvel, DC, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Elliot Miller over at at voiceofe.com has a fantastic video for you to check out. We're not going to cover all that because I was standing there. You're all talked out about that kind of stuff for the moment.
Problem.
So let's talk about some of it
with Elliot, and you'll see all that stuff. Most
definitely. And what I want to focus on a bit more. First off, you've got a new line of unpainted miniatures that's coming out for D&D and Pathfinder.
Yes.
And I'm going to have some news pieces up. They look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and we're really excited. They just came out this past month. So the wave 1. So we'll be doing multiple waves in the future. This is a larger wave, but because we wanted to hit a lot of the real iconic character classes and monsters, and we've also have a very good mix of male and female versions of the character classes, so you can really customize your miniature. Each of the packs is. Well, for the character classes, there's 2 figures in the pack, so you have a low-level version and a high-level version of the character. So as you're going through your campaign and your character goes up in levels, you're going to have another miniature that you can be painting along there and have ready for when you get all the cool equipment and everything.
And I should also point out, even though they are branded Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, people are not under any legal obligation to not use those miniatures with other games. And one cool thing I had noticed with the character class packs, like you said, there's a lower level, higher level, but the figures are completely different. So people could actually utilize those as, a couple of dwarf mages in my, I don't know, miniatures game.
Yeah,
as opposed to, it's just, because sometimes you'll see where it's the same exact character, same exact sculpt. Oh, and look, it's a different weapon.
Yeah, you have an army of all duplicates. Yeah, no, here they'll look very visually different. And from my perspective, I look at it and say, man, you could really design your campaign around seeing what the miniature has.
Oh, yeah.
And say, it's got some special sword or shield or whatever. Put that into your campaign so that the player, you come across this thing and they can go, oh, that sounds like the sword or the shield that's on my miniature.
And it's also perfect too for those out there who like to complain about pre-painted miniatures. Well, guess what? Now you can paint them yourself.
Yeah, and these
you can do that with the pre-paint.
These are we're calling the line deep cuts because it has very deep cut details, so they're very painter friendly. So even if you are not the most, the most experienced painter, these are ones that will be very forgiving, that you won't lose that detail in the sculpt. And they already come pre-primed.
Right.
And we're using primer from Vallejo.
Yep.
So you can pop them right out of the package, start painting, and get right into your campaign.
You're good to go. Yeah.
Let it dry first.
I was going to say, and don't forget that matte finish, please. So let's talk about some of the board games, because right now you are sort of in the midst of a board game renaissance or reemergence, I guess we would say at WizKids. because first off, the Z-Man himself
Yeah, we're very happy to have
is now with WizKids.
Zev Schlesinger on board, heading up our board game division. So he is coming out with a brand new slate of games, and we're some wonderful games that were on display here. Will be available. We're demoing. Will be available in stores soon, or if they're not already.
Right.
And very happy to work with him, and he's been just hitting it out.
Knocking it out, yeah. Well, one thing I did notice that you do have quite a few smaller footprint games.
Yes.
So of course they're going to be kind of more entry level, well, not necessarily entry level, but price point wise. Well, we're not looking at, it's a small game, it's going to be $70.
Yeah, well, actually, one of the things that we're looking to do is have more consistency in our box size corresponds with the price of the game.
Okay.
So our smaller box games are in the $15 to $20 ranges. Then there's sort of a mid-box size that will be in the $20 to $30, and then a larger box that would be the $30 to $40 range. And then there may be things even bigger beyond that. But we have for two reasons. One, I mean it's easier for gamers and retailers to sort of keep track of it and understand it. And then also for storage, putting them up on the shelves and having all the boxes be a similar size, helps out a lot.
Right. So some of the, I guess we'll say, larger footprint games that you've got coming out, pretty exciting. Now, I know one is available here at Origins, and of course you're watching this video, so you can't buy it here at Origins, but it is, I believe, available next month, and that is a kind of crime noir game called Deadline.
Yeah, Deadline. Yeah, we have it right over on the table here that we're demoing. This is a game where you are, as you said, it's sort of you're taking the role of a gumshoe detective, trying to solve a crime.
Right.
There's multiple different case files in the game that you're trying to solve. So you choose one at the beginning of the game, what you're going to do. There's different clues that you're trying to get along the way. There's different people that you're going to be interrogating, and the game mechanic itself is you're collecting cards that have different symbols, and each of the clues and people that you interrogate have a almost a code, if you will, of different symbols. So you have to be able to match all those symbols and put together a set of cards that will match those symbols in order to flip the card over and read what the actual clue is, or what they're going to tell you in the interrogation.
Right. Okay.
And then once you collect all of those, then you'll be able to make a guess at how to solve the crime, or what the solution of the crime is.
If people are like me, they'll fail miserably and and end up just a drunken has-been alcoholic private gumshoe. Yeah, in San Francisco. They're always in San Francisco.
That's true. Well, it works well with the Chinatown.
There are multiple cases in the game too, right?
There's multiple cases, and then also this is a game that we're looking at in the future. We can come out with expansion packs that add new case files, so that you can grab those and have new cases to solve. And I think there's a lot of customization in this game potential of that. We imagine that fans of this game will be able to make their own case files and just and come up with their own cards that they can use, because all it really needs to add in is the cards that have the clues and the symbols on the front. Right. So
they don't have to buy a whole brand new game.
Yeah. So and even if people want to come up with their own cases and put them up on fan sites or what have you, I think there's a lot of opportunity for.
There's going to be DLC for the game.
Yeah, exactly. They're fan-made content. Sure.
Then you've got another game, and I'm hopefully pronouncing this correctly, is Sidereal Confluence. Sidereal. There you go.
Yeah, that one's off on this back table here. This is a space theme game. You are taking the role of a different race out in a galaxy, and you are vying for resources. But each of the races have different abilities and strengths and weaknesses, and it's very much a negotiation game, it's got a wonderful, it's very well done negotiation game mechanic. without.
Well, you have to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're contractually obligated to say. You can't say this is a horrible game. I don't know why we decided to release this.
Yeah, this is out of. There's been great interest in this game here at the show, so we're really happy with it. The designer has been running demos here at the show, and
Nice.
And the response has been wonderful.
Cool.
So it's. I certainly encourage you. I don't know that I'll be able to give you the exact run through of the game just in talking about it.
Sure.
But if you like negotiation games, this is a fantastic one.
I don't negotiate. I just invade.
You're more the combat guy.
That's it. Yeah. Staying in space.
Yeah.
The game that I have heard the most buzz about from prospective buyers, unfortunately, will not be at Gen Con, and that is going to be the Expanse, based upon the hit sci-fi series.
Yeah.
And I believe it's designed by Jeff Engelstein?
Yes, yeah. We're really happy to work with that licensed property. It's a fantastic show, and it's exciting to bring it into the board game universe, if you will.
Right.
We are hoping. We don't have it here at the show. We only have a
yes,
box.
I had asked you pre-interview, and a little tear started to form in my eye. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get to see it.
Hopefully at Gen Con we'll have. I don't know that we'll have any. I'm not sure if we'll have any available for pre-sale at that point at the show.
It should be demo.
But demo copies hopefully
I'm
at that point.
taking pre-orders, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. But the game itself, it's a solid gameplay, and I think it's something that even if you're a fan of the show, then you're going to be sort of steeped in the flavor of it. But even if you're not a fan of the show, it's solid gameplay.
Or have never seen it.
So
I mean, from my understanding, what I've heard, and I believe it's actually come through your press department or possibly Jeff himself, is it's got a gameplay reminiscent of Twilight Struggle, which is one of my all-time favorite games. It's always in like the top 5 on Board Game Geek, so a lot of people love that game. And I'm really excited to see it because everybody's going to be able to take on a faction. And the thing that I find the funniest about the Expanse, because it's based on a series of novels, is the Expanse is actually based on a role-playing game.
Yeah, it's almost full circle.
Right,
yeah.
And everybody's kind of surprised that, how come they didn't license it out as a role-playing game?
Yeah.
Why did they go with a board game first?
Yeah. Not to say it couldn't happen.
Hey,
but
I'm sure it's cooking somewhere.
Yeah. But so that'll be one that we're looking at the September release for it. So keep an eye out for it.
Oh yeah, I'll have both eyes open for it. What other titles did you want to give a little bit of love to?
Well,
Fantasy Realms, I think, is one of the smaller box
games. Fantasy Realms. It's a card game. Very quick play. You can get a game in 15-20 minutes. It is a very simple mechanic. It's one of these games you can go around the first turn with everybody, and everybody understands how to play.
Sure.
Really, the turn consists of you discard a card out of your hand, and then you either draw one from the top of the deck, or you take one of the ones that someone discarded before.
Okay.
That's it. And you're basically just trying to build the best hand that you can. The cards in the game have different points on them, have different point values, and then different combo points. So if you have certain card combinations, or if you have certain types of cards, maybe you have a card that gives you a bonus for the number of a certain type of card that you have in your hand. And it's a set number of turns. So once you go through the end of that set number of turns, everybody reveals their hand, counts up their points, and you see if you built the best hand. Okay. So very, very simple mechanic, very accessible for even non-gamers. This one happens to be a fantasy theme. But it's not so steeped in fantasy that you. Oh,
I'm sorry, you can't play this. You don't know the lore behind the game. Here, read this 200-page manual.
Yeah, and it's And it's also very simple in that a lot of the different types of cards, it's all sort of color coded, so you can see right away if you got those combos based on the color coding of the cards. So it's
the cards have symbols as well.
Symbols and then names of the cards. So it might.
Who are colorblind in mind.
Yeah, it might. So you might have triggers that are either based on the specific name of the card or the type of the card or the color card. So it's a lot of fun, and it's one of these games that when I've played it with people, they're ready to play another one. Like
Sweet.
Nice. You can just go through 3 or 4 games right in a sitting.
It sounds like it's kind of a good wind up, wind down kind of game.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't use the term filler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Filler's putting ground beef at McDonald's, so that's how I look at it. Any other titles you might want to touch upon at all, Scott?
Yeah, we have the one that just most recently came out is Dicebot Megafun, and that is a game that we're demoing over here. You're building a killer robot.
Okay.
You've got to grab weapons that are represented on different dice. The dice are rolled into the middle of the table, and everybody grabs for dice at the same time, because the theme of the game is that you're all pickers in a junkyard and trying to grab different components to build your robot.
Right.
So there's
there's my sprocket.
Yeah, and you're trying, and you're gonna grab, a laser gun. You're gonna grab a flamethrower. You're gonna grab, rocket jets or whatever it might be. And assemble your robot, and then at the end of each round, there's a combat phase. So hopefully your robot survives that combat phase, and then that's how you score points for the game. So it's got this.
Knock everybody else's robot out. That's all it's about.
And it's got this great in the build phase there. It's got this great sort of frenetic energy of everybody grabbing for dice at the same time.
Nice. Very cool.
So a lot of fun and a little bit more physical, if you will.
Somebody gets their feelings hurt very easily. You might want to take it back.
There's rules that you can't just cover all the dice.
You can't hit somebody's hand with a mallet so they don't grab it. Anything else?
Some of the other games that we came out with most recently, we do have Rock Paper Wizards, which is out in the stores now. This is
party game.
Yeah, it's a great party game. It's Dungeons & Dragons theme, but again, you don't have to be really a fan of Dungeons and Dragons necessarily.
Read all this stuff about Forgotten Realms, you can't play.
Yeah, the basic premise of the game is that you're all wizards and you've defeated a dragon and you're trying to grab gold from the dragon horde. But everybody's gotten a little greedy at that point and is trying to get the most gold.
Strangely enough, I believe there's going to be some sort of a rock, paper, scissors mechanic involved in this.
Yes, well, sort of, in that there is a spell book that gets laid out in front of you, which is a series of cards that have different hand gestures on them that do different spell effects. Okay. And what you do as a group is say, rock, paper, wizard. And when on Wizard, everybody you're going to choose ahead of time in your head.
Right,
but you're going to make whatever the hand gesture might be on the card for whatever spell you want to cast on someone and point it at them across the table. So it's a lot of fun to have a group of people sitting at a table and then, all pointing hand gestures at each other across the table. And it's one of these games where all the spells are resolved in order. So best laid plans, you could have something in mind of what you're going to do, but if that person ended up getting moved around because of a previous spell from someone else, well, maybe your spell ended up either not working as well or even backfiring on you. And then there's also a really neat mechanic that if 2 people cast the same spell at each other, there's what's called a wild surge in Magic, and they have to draw off the top of the deck. Huh. So then it's a random effect.
Oh wow! Okay.
So
nice.
So it makes it it's a lot of fun, great party game, and again, it's a very simple mechanic that once you kind of go through one turn, most everybody at the table will understand how the game's played.
I'm kind of curious what spell might be represented by the hand gesture I use at people who cut me off in traffic.
That one might be, maybe it's go back one square.
Maybe that's not in the spell book.
We need that as a promo card, right?
Right, exactly. Yes.
One with a black cover.
Gen Con only, right. In a poly bag.
Yeah. And we are also, most recently we've came out with Burke'S Gambit, which is a deduction game.
Okay.
And the theme there is that you're traveling through space, through Earth, but one of you has been infected with an alien, and you have to try to find out who that is.
It's going to be me.
There's going to be two factions. The faction that is, in my mind, the sane faction that wants to get rid of this thing, and the other one that wants to.
I know what the second one's going to be.
Yeah, they want to bring it home.
Study this and make money off of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this, as compared to other games that are of this genre, of the deduction game, is you actually don't know what your status is. So you could be infected, and there isn't actually a way of finding out for yourself. So you are actually going through the game somewhat blind, and on top of it, there's actually mechanics in the game where the alien can move around. So even if you figure it out, it might change.
Sort of a little bit along the lines of the classic John Carpenter film, The Thing.
Sure.
Because some of them didn't even realize that they are infected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Very nice.
Dice Stars is a dice game. It's got scoring sheets that come with it, and a load of dice that are different colors and mostly numbered pips, but then there's also stars on them as well. You're trying to create sets of either the same number or the same color of dice, and then you fill out your score sheet. That's a game that there really is no theme to it per se.
Like chucking dice?
You like chucking dice and playing against your friends to try to score the most points that you can. And so I think it's very accessible for families or sort of even the non-gamer, if you will. That
I don't hang out with people like that, though.
Yeah, but go over grandma's.
Not allowed in my life.
Go over grandma's house, and she likes playing Yahtzee or something like that. And this is a game that's sort of a new version, if you will.
Usually at grandma's, it's straight vodka and high stakes poker.
Yeah, there you go. Cigars.
Well, not anymore. She's in her 90s now.
Oh yeah, sorry. Got to come back a little.
She vapes.
It's. We're really excited to have this huge slate of games coming out.
Yeah, it's wild because of course for years it's always been HeroClix, and then you did Attack Wing, and then you did Star Trek, and then you did the D&D, the Dragon Attack Wing, but you've always, not always, but usually WizKids has kind of had a focus more on collectability.
Miniatures is our bread and butter, if you will.
Right.
And we've had some wonderful games that have come out over the years with Couriers and Mage Knight.
Right.
And
that broke the mold.
Yeah,
right.
and those have been a smaller aspect of our company in terms of our primary chunk of our business is around HeroClix and now Dice Masters,
course.
We're really looking to reach out and make an impact in the
really
board
exciting.
game.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, when I first saw the press release for the Expanse board game, I did kind of double take. I was like, wait, WizKids?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well, I think
Let me double check that.
I think probably the best way to illustrate this is in the probably less than a year that Zev has been with us. He's probably releasing more board games than we have in the whole time I've been with WizKids, which would be like 5 or 6 years. Well,
Zev was famous for releasing 15, 20 board games in a year at Seaman too. So, so he's used to that. I was going to say, wow, he's taking a nap. He's laying down on the job. Should have like 30 games out this year.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to checking out quite a few of the titles that are coming out.
Very good.
And of course, we'll check in at Gen Con to see what's cooking too.
Absolutely. We'll
Scott,
be there.
Thank you so much for joining me. Excellent to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
You too.